Okay. So Srimad Bhagavata Mahatmyam, as the name suggests, talks about the significance of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is described in Padma Purana. So chapter 1 is Bhakti Narada Samvadam or Bhakti Narada Samagamaha, as we saw now. That means Bhakti Devi and Narada meet in person and they have a dialogue. Now, Bhakti here is in a living form. She is Bhakti Devi who is worshipped, and all of us we have Bhakti inside us. So, Narada meets Bhakti, and the conversation between them, that is the gist of chapter 1. So, this itself shows that the Mahatmyam or the significance of Bhagavatam itself shows that Bhakti is the root cause, or you can say Bhakti is the base for, of course, for anything, any other Purana, especially for Bhagavata Purana. For this text, Bhakti is the root cause. So, as we start, initially, if you see, the Bhagavatam starts with talking about the glory of the Lord. Sachidananda Rupaya Vishnotpatyadi Hetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha. Just as before we start something auspicious also, we remember the Lord. Similarly, before starting the Mahatmyam also, Vyasacharya, he worships the Lord. And because Srimad Bhagavatam mainly is a Vaishnava Purana, it glorifies Lord Krishna here, he offers his worship to Krishna. And that's when he says that Yam Praprajanta. That's when Veda Vyasa. Now, if you see, Vyasa is not a proper noun, it is the name of a Padavi actually. That means one who is known for compiling and composing. That person is called Vyasa. The latest Vyasa that we have, or the current Vyasa who has categorized the Vedas, also written the Mahabharatam, the categorized the various Puranas, he is called Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa. Of course, here also there are some controversies and conflicts, but we don't have to do anything with that. We need not even get into it. But for your information, you should know that Vyasa is not the name of one person. It's not a proper noun. It's the name of a Padavi. Now, this Vedavyasa, he was born in a land, in an island. That's how he gets the name Krishna Dvaipayana. Dvaipayana, Dvipam is an island. One was born in that island. It's Krishna Dvaipayana. Why Krishna? He was a bit dark complexion, it seems. And Vedavyasa, it seems that one fine day he saw his son Shuka Brahman, moving about here and there. That is just leaving the material life and moving about. Why so? Shuka Brahman says that in one place you should not stay for a long period of time. You should stay only for some time and then you should keep moving about. That's the reason if you see those travelers or sadhus or so, they move about from one place to another. Why? Because Shuka Brahma very rightly says that staying in one place for a longer period of time automatically develops attachment. Right? Now you stay in one house or so for many years together, you don't feel like leaving the place, right? Whereas if you keep changing places, you go from one place to another, then again you meet new people, new places, you don't feel attached, right? You become used to it. Now that does it mean that I should keep changing places? That is not so. Shukabramam tries to say that the root cause of attachment is staying in a place for a long period of time. That's the reason Shukabramam starts traveling all over the world, and he just left his life moving about here and there. And he had this intention of living a life of a sadhu. Of course, his father Vedavyasa, he could not bear to see the separation of his son, and that's when it seems that he called out to his son, Putreti Tanmayataya. Like any father, he was attached to his son. He could not bear the pain of being separated from his son. He calls out to his son. But at that time, Shukabrahma had already left, and it seems that the trees in the forest they responded, it seems. And all of them started bowing down to Shuka, who had decided to leave the life of a sage. Now that's when what happened is Shuka, as he was moving around, he reaches the forest of Naimisharanya, which is there in today's central Bharata. There he was seated, and here what happened is Shaunaka's name of another sage, he used to like to listen to the stories of the Lord. Now, if you see all the entire set of Puranas that are there, they are actually a conversation between a sage called Romaharshana, who talks about the gist, or you can say the story of all 18 Puranas to a group of sages. Yeah. So Romaharshana actually tells that this was a conversation which took place between Shuka and Shaunaka. So it's like a third person telling. I'll give you an example. Like now, I am telling you about Bhagavatam, right? But doesn't mean that I have written Bhagavatam or I am a person, one character in that. No, I'm telling you, no. Shuka and Shaunaka have talked so. Like that, Roma Harshana also did the same thing. He said that no, Shuka and Shaunaka they had a conversation about Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's how the story gets passed about. So here one fine day what happened is Shaunaka he starts that Shaunaka tells Shuka that you have come here, so therefore now you should tell us about the nectar like stories of the Lord, and this is the base, or you can say least, which will help in removing the jnanam, removing the ignorance that we have. Now even till date that is the easiest thing that we can do, right? Someone tells us to read great philosophical texts, we cannot. Whereas if someone is ready, now all of us, we have the Srimad Bhagavatam books in our houses, we have the Ramayanam. How many of us actually open and read it? Maybe 1 2%. But someone is ready to tell, okay, I'll tell you the story of Ramayanam immediately. All of us are interested. This also is to the grace of the Lord that few of us are interested. But it is the easiest thing to do, which in those times only Shaunaka tells. And he tells that in this age of Kali that is there, mostly if you see men are, it's not that in the Kali age everything is evil, but there are so many distractions and other things that come around that it becomes very difficult. So the least or the most easiest thing that we can do is listen to the stories of the Lord. So O Shuka, you please tell us the stories of the Lord. That's when Suta is another sage who comes in, and he says that now Suta here he starts telling about, now again this is a conversation between Shaunaka and Suta. Now Suta is also an important character in Bhagavatam. Now Suta and Shaunaka they have a conversation wherein Suta says that I will tell you. And firstly he says that there's a lot of love and affection in your heart for the Lord. That's the reason today you're interested, right? Otherwise, why would you be interested to know about something which happened thousands of years back? So that's when he tells you that I will tell you Bhaktyoga Vardhanam Yacha Krishna Santosha Hetukam, verse number 10. He says that I will tell you and Srimad Bhagavatam Shastram Kalaukirena Bhashitam, verse 11. It tells that I will tell you about a great text, Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about the stories and pastimes of the Lord. And there is nothing else which will purify our minds also. But here again, if today you are listening to Bhagavatam, that has to be because of the good karma that you have done in the past. Without that, you cannot listen. परीक्षिते कथां वक्तुं सभायां संस्थिते सुखे सुधा कुम्भं गृहीत्वैव देवास्तत्र समागमन्. The gods themselves came there to get a chance to listen to Bhagavatam. Janmantare bhavet punyam tada Bhagavatam labhet. Only if you have done punya for janmas together, you will get Bhagavatam. So this is what Suta also tells, and that's when he starts telling that I'm going to start telling you about this nectar like Bhagavatam that is there, which Srimad Bhagavati Varta Suranam api Durlabha. Suraha for gods also, this is something which is very rare. And initially he says that in the initial days when Lord Brahma started the process of creation, it seems that there were, now if you say Srimad Bhagavatam is one. Apart from that, there are many other disciplines also, maybe chanting of the Vedas, other Puranas, other texts, and so on. And various other practices also, doing japa, doing tapasya, this and that. It seems that Brahma he weighed Srimad Bhagavatam on one side and all other texts on the other side. Seems that Srimad Bhagavatam was proved more in weight, it seems. Lagunyanyani jatani gauravena idam mahat. Here it doesn't mean that all other scriptures or all other disciplines are low or so. But because we are talking about Srimad Bhagavatam, obviously the Purana is going to be told or it is going to be given the topmost priority. Moreover, it is something which is easily accessible. Or devotees like you and me, if someone tells, okay, read about Krishna Leela stories, for every common man it becomes easy. Whereas someone tells me you go to the Himalayas or so, stand on 1 feet and do tapasya, none of us can do it, right? So therefore, things which become easy to the people in the Kali age, that is nothing but Srimad Bhagavatam, also other Puranas also. Further, he says that now here what happened is, now the story of Srimad Bhagavatam was already heard by Narada because Narada is the Manasa Putra of Brahma, so he had already heard from there. And further, here now Shaunaka question saying that how did Narada, he kept on moving here and there. Now Narada, as we know, he doesn't stay in one place, right? He keeps on moving here and there. So now Shaunaka wants to know, saying that how this Narada doesn't stay in one place at all. How did he get this taste of listening to the Bhagavatam? Where did he meet the other sages? Where did he meet Sanaka and the four brothers, the four Kumaras, Sanat Kumaras who are there? They are also the mind-born sons of Brahma, and so on. That's when this main story of Bhakti Devi and Narada comes in, wherein Suta says that I'll tell you the story. Once it so happened that There were four sages in Badrikashramam, that is in today's Badrinath Dham, and there they met Narada also. And at that time, Kumara Uchuhu, Kumara, the four Sanat Kumara, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, the four Sanat Kumaras. Now Narada was a bit sad. So they asked Narada, why are you sad? So at that time, Narada says that Aham tu prithivim yato nyatva sarvottamamiti. I went down to earth, Prithvi, because it is said that it is the best among all the spheres and planets. I visited various pilgrimage places, holy places, Pushkaram, Prayagam, Kashi, Godavari, Haridwar, Kurukshetram, Srirangam, Setumandanam, Rameshwaram. But just moving about here and there, still I could not attain satisfaction at all. Now today also, if you see, though we go to all these pilgrimage places, there are these places where a lot of business takes place, a lot of evil things also, or there are some things which are disturbing also. Such things do happen. But in general, if we go to such places, we become happy, right? For us, we become happy because for us, this itself is something, a new, uh, you can say, from our daily lives also. You go and visit these places, it gives us joy, happiness. But Narada says that even if you go to these places, there is adharma that is spread about everywhere. Nobody speaks the truth. There is poverty that is spread. Everyone is speaking false statements. Is that so? And moreover, here, if you see, in Kali age, what happens is Narada says there's a lot of selling that takes place. Even now it is said that food grains that are there, or rice especially, should not be, you should not buy in the sense that at home we buy, that is different. But you should not do the selling also. Like it, that is, you go to a restaurant also and you eat something, and there is no option, it is okay. But in general, if you see, that's the reason many elders also, they will not eat from outside, because food or annam is something which should not be sold. That's the reason you go to temples, you have annadana, right? Food is given in free, and that is a very good thing. That's why we have, whenever someone comes to our house also, we give them food, right? So that should be given actually in free, because food is something which is a basic necessity, like water. But why should you charge for that, right? And that should not be done. It is actually adharma. And this is one reason why we offer food to the crows also. Or if someone comes to our house, why we give, we don't ask them, right? No, I'm giving you a glass of coffee, you give me 10 rupees, we don't say that. So actually in those times, even generally also, food used to be given in free. Of course, today we don't have such things happening. But yes, in the Kali age, this thing is happening wherein even food also is being sold and people make a business out of it. That should not happen. Now, does it mean that no, there are so many food shops, should I not go and eat, should I not sell? Doesn't mean that way. The thing is, food is something which is basic and that should be given and distributed among the masses. If someone is poor, they cannot afford, doesn't mean that they should remain hungry, right? So like this, Narada sits about all this, and that's when he feels bad. And here, as he was moving about here and there, he finally says that I reached the banks of Yamuna. The Yamuna is a place where Lord Krishna has spent his childhood, and there he says that immediately as I went there, I saw a young woman. Now, a young woman was none but Bhakti Devi herself. She was sitting there, and two men were lying unconscious by their side. I went and met the woman. That's when the girl, Balovacha, she says that you put an end to my worry. I don't know why, but all the sins of this world are driving me completely. That's when Narada asks, Kasitvam ka vimauchema naryaf ka padmalochanaha. Narada asks her, who are you? Who are these two sons who are falling near you? That's when the girl replies that, Aham bhaktiriti khyata. I am Bhakti Devi. And these two are my sons, Jnana and Vairagya. Jnana is enlightenment, Jnanam, knowledge. Vairagya is detachment or dispassion. Now, mainly Vairagya doesn't mean that to not be passionate. It doesn't mean that way, meaning over passionate about things. I have one house, I still need 10 houses. I have one car, I need 10 cars. So this is where Vairagya comes in. So knowing where to stop, being contented and satisfied. So in the course of time in Kali age, what happens is all three of us, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, we have been worn out completely because no one is respecting us. That's when, now there were few girls also, it seems, around Bhakti Devi. Who are those girls? They are nothing but Ganga and all other rivers, it seems. They had gathered around Bhakti Devi to do service to me. So in spite of doing all this, still happiness doesn't come to me, she says. And that's when Bhakti Devi starts with her story, and she says that Utpanna Dravide Saham. I was born in Dravida Desham, that is in today's Tamil Nadu, the southern coast of Bharatadesha. Saham Vriddhim Karnatake Grata, attained maturity in Karnataka. That's the reason you see you have the Alvar. traditions also, or the various uh, religious contributions were made in Tamil Nadu. Further, you went to Karnataka, you had Purandaradasa, things like that. There were many people who contributed in Karnataka Desham. Further, next, Kwachit Kwachin Maharashtra. Then you had the Bhakti movement in Maharashtra, if you see. Abhangs Lord Vithala also being worshipped. Gurjare Jirnatam Gata became old in Gujarat. Gujarat, if you see, even today, if you go, Gujarat, or especially if you see Uttara Bharatam, Bhakti is something which is at the peak, right? Where, as compared to Dakshina Bharatam, Madhya Bharatam also, today they'll raise their hands, jump in joy. When today you go to so many places around, that's their way of celebrating Bhakti. Now, nothing is wrong. We should not speak against saying that no, some Bhakti is less here, Bhakti is more there. Way of expressing Bhakti is different. But Bhakti Devi says that I was born in Dravida Desham. I moved out in Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gurjaram, that is in the state of Gujarat. And finally, now I've come to Vrindavanam. I grew weak as I went about here and there. I reached Vrindavanam. But now, after coming to Vrindavanam, I stand a bit refreshed also. Maybe because it is the birthplace of Krishna. But now I have become young. Bhakti Devi says, I have become young after coming to Vrindavanam. But these two sons of mine, however, they are still old only. That's when Narada says, okay, I got all the root cause of your misery also. I will tell you now what to do. Lord Hari himself, Harishamte Karishyati, Lord Hari himself will bring you happiness. That's when again now Suta continues. Now Narada he further says that this is the age of Kali. So therefore, it will become a bit difficult for you to do this. And especially your two sons. Now, Bhakti is still alive in Kali age. That's the reason today also all of us are together. But Jnana, Vairagya are something which becomes very, very difficult. That's the reason it will take time for them to come out of their old age. And here finally, so therefore he says that it will take some time for both your men, both your sons who are there to come. And here in the Kali age, if you see, doing wrong things also, that has become everyone's way of life, right? So therefore, it will take some time. But now Bhakti Devi says, but how should we come out of this, right? Does it mean that only evil things are there, adharma is there? Should we have to suffer and bear? Narada says no. I'll tell you a story for that. He says that right from the time Lord Krishna ended his avataram, from that day onwards, Dwapara Yugam comes to an end, Kali Yugam starts. That's when even Uddhava, the childhood friend of Krishna, had asked Krishna, what will we do now next, now that you have left this earth? That's when Krishna says that you don't have to worry. Even though my physical presence has left, I will immerse myself in Srimad Bhagavatam. So I will be present in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam in the Kali age for devotees like you. So therefore you can immerse in my nectar. So Narada says the same thing, that you please listen, read the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will attain mukti only. Further, also at the same time he says that develop bhakti towards the Lord, keep chanting the names of the Lord also. And like this he talks about how you should do devotion to the Lord, how you can visit pilgrimage places also. And then of course he also talks about the evils who are there, which are there in Kali Yugam. Like there are people who sell their own cattle, that is there, sell their own maybe wives or things like that also being done. Like one's own partners, they keep cheating. Such things will do happen. But all such things are there. We cannot blame anything. But what you can do is you have to develop Vishnu, devotion to Lord Vishnu. Nahi Vaishnavata Kutra Tasto Pundarikakshaha Sahate Nikate Sthitaha. You have this belief that that lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu is there with you. To develop bhakti towards the Lord, all these evils will not seem to be important at all. Listening to this, bhakti automatically gets a lot of, you can say, she becomes happy also. And finally she says that Sudarshe Tvam hi dhanyosi. It is my good luck, my bhagyam that I could get the darshana of you and great souls like you. I pray down to you, saying that just as Drupada, sorry, just as Prahlada, when he was there inside the womb of his mother Kayatu, you went and told to him about Bhakti Mahatmyam, about the devotion to Lord Vishnu, just as you guided Dhruva to attain the Dhruva Padam. Similarly, today you have come to me and you have told me about the right Bhakti Margam, about the right way to worship the Lord. This will help me in attaining a place like Dhruva Padam, or this will help me in attaining a place close to the Lord. So therefore, I bow down to you, and ultimately, all of us devotees also, through the medium of bhakti, we have to bow down to Narada. Next, with this chapter 1, Mahatmyam comes to an end. Next is the conversation between Sanat Kumaras and Narada. We will continue learning that on Monday. So, okay, now someone sing Aarti. Shanti ji, will you sing Aarti? Shanti Ramachandran ji. Yeah, start. Hmm? పోయాచా हाँ यार कितना चाहिए 15 हाँ हाँ Yeah. Thank you, Shanti ji. Very nice. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. ధన్యవాదాలు. ధన్యవాదాలు. నమస్తే.